Did you catch what unfolded in the final quarter between the Indiana Fever and the Dallas Wings? Just when it seemed like the game was slipping out of reach, Caitlin Clark took control and completely flipped the momentum. She drilled back-to-back three-pointers as if she were shooting around in her own driveway. On the offensive end, with 3 players already in double figures, Clark struck again from deep. And just when you thought it couldn't get any better, Kelsey Mitchell stepped into the spotlight and knocked down a huge 3 of her own. In an instant, the Fever were right back in it, looking like a team that had activated another gear. But that surge was only the start. Clark wrapped up the night with a stat line that's becoming routine for her: 28 points, 12 assists, 4 rebounds, and 5 shots from beyond the arc. Mitchell was even more explosive, pouring in 36 points to go along with 6 rebounds and 5 three-pointers. Trying to contain both of them at once feels nearly impossible. What's even more impressive is that this wasn't a one-time performance. Indiana entered this matchup fresh off a road victory over Angel Reese's Chicago Sky, and they followed it up with another statement win against Dallas. The Fever, once labeled underdogs at the start of the season, are now forcing critics to rethink everything. Let's break down why this performance from Clark and Mitchell was so special. Clark may be a rookie, but she's playing as if she's been in the WNBA for years. Scoring 28 is impressive, yet those 12 assists highlight her elite court vision and unselfishness. She doesn't just score, she elevates everyone around her. Her 5 three-pointers stretched the defense to its limits, creating space that simply wasn't there before. As for Mitchell, her 36 points against Dallas were electric. She wasn't just waiting for opportunities, she attacked, battled for 6 rebounds, and matched Clark with 5 threes of her own. When 2 guards are shooting that confidently from long range, defending them becomes a nightmare. Together, they accounted for 64 points, more than half of the team's total, and Clark's playmaking added even more scoring chances for her teammates. Performances like this lift an entire roster. This backcourt duo is quickly becoming one of the most dangerous pairings in the league. Clark's deep range and passing creativity blend perfectly with Mitchell's aggressiveness and shot-making ability. It's hard to believe they've only been together for a season. Opposing coaches are undoubtedly losing sleep trying to scheme against them. And don't mistake this for an isolated hot streak. Before defeating Dallas, the Fever had already handled the Sky on the road, an accomplishment that's never easy in the WNBA. Winning away from home is tough. Doing it in consecutive games against competitive teams is even tougher. In both matchups, Clark and Mitchell dictated the tempo, leaving defenses unsure of who to prioritize. Guard Clark too closely, and she'll find the open teammate. Focus on Mitchell, and she'll create her own shot from anywhere on the floor. These victories mean more than a bump in the standings. They signal a shift in perception. Indiana is no longer viewed as an automatic win on the schedule. Teams now understand they'll need their best effort to beat the Fever. What's exciting is that the team seems to be improving with every outing, building confidence that could carry into the postseason. If this trajectory continues, Indiana could become a serious playoff threat. Credit also belongs to head coach Christie Sides, whose growth alongside her team has been evident. Early in the season, the Fever occasionally looked disjointed, relying on individual talent. Now, their offense flows with purpose and timing. Sides has clearly tailored her system to maximize each player's strengths while emphasizing defensive accountability. At the start of the year, Indiana surrendered too many easy baskets. Recently, they've competed with far greater intensity on that end. Lexie Hull, in particular, embodies that defensive mindset, battling on every possession. The Fever today look nothing like the squad that opened the season. With Clark's remarkable vision and long-range shooting paired with Mitchell's relentless scoring ability, Indiana has formed a combination capable of troubling any defense. Their chemistry fuels the entire roster, and that growing belief may be the most dangerous weapon of all. The confidence that Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell bring spreads throughout the entire roster. Their energy is infectious, and suddenly every player in a Fever jersey seems to be operating at a higher level. It's as if their excellence has lifted the standard for the whole team. Another major factor is how they respond under pressure. When the game is on the line, both Clark and Mitchell demand the ball. They embrace the spotlight instead of shrinking from it, and that gives the team tremendous reassurance in tight fourth-quarter situations. Just as important, you can see the joy they play with. That enthusiasm matters. Basketball played with confidence and happiness often reaches another tier. At this point, Clark and Mitchell represent more than just the present of the Indiana Fever, they symbolize the franchise's future. And judging by what we're witnessing, that future looks incredibly promising. Their surge is clearly reflected in the standings. Remember how the season began? Indiana was labeled a rebuilding project, with many predicting it would take 2 or 3 years before they could truly compete. Instead, progress has arrived ahead of schedule. After defeating the Dallas Wings, the Fever now sit at 17-16. For a team some expected to battle for the bottom spot in the league, that turnaround is remarkable. What's even more surprising is that they aren't merely hanging around the playoff race, they're in a strong position. The Chicago Sky, led by Angel Reese, trail well behind at 11-21 in 8th place, while Indiana has built significant separation. Even more intriguing, the Fever still have a realistic opportunity to climb higher and challenge the Seattle Storm in the standings. That possibility completely reshapes the playoff outlook. Indiana is no longer the matchup contenders hope for, they're quickly becoming the team nobody wants to see in the opening round. Imagine being a top seed and drawing Clark and Mitchell in a best-of-3 series. That's enough to make any opponent uneasy. Momentum and belief are powerful weapons, and the Fever are entering the final stretch brimming with both. Each close victory has strengthened their poise and given them valuable late-game experience. Those lessons could prove crucial once post-season pressure intensifies. Another advantage? Expectations. Simply reaching the playoffs would already exceed preseason projections, meaning Indiana can compete freely without the weight of heavy pressure. Teams that play loose and fearless basketball are often the most dangerous. The Fever style, built on deep shooting, creative passing, and aggressive scoring, poses unique challenges, particularly for opponents unaccustomed to defending that kind of attack. Add in the element of surprise, and underestimating Indiana could be a costly mistake. This is not the same Fever team from previous years. It's a group with a renewed identity and mindset. Perhaps the biggest storyline is growth. The team has steadily improved throughout the season, and if that progression continues, what happens if Clark and Mitchell elevate their games even further by playoff time? That's a daunting thought for the rest of the league. Winning a championship would still be a massive accomplishment, but making a deep run, upsetting a favorite, or even reaching the finals no longer feels unrealistic. Most exciting of all, this appears to be only the beginning. With Clark, Mitchell, and a developing supporting cast, Indiana is building something that could shape the league for years to come. The upcoming WNBA playoffs promise to be thrilling, and the Fever might just be the headline story of the postseason. Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe Indiana has a legitimate shot at the title this year? How far can Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell carry this squad? Could this be the start of a new WNBA powerhouse? Share your thoughts and predictions. I always enjoy seeing perspectives I might have missed. And if you like this breakdown and want more WNBA coverage, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next. Thanks for reading, and I'll see you in the next one.